And hi guys, welcome to the final episode of the group summary for our Football Unplanned podcast. This is now Group H, and in Group H we have Portugal, South Korea, Ghana and Uruguay.
And the very first team from this group is Portugal. The European champions from 2016 have only one medal from World Cups, and it was in 1966 when they won the third place with their star Eusebio.
Cristiano Ronaldo, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, João Felix, Rafael Leao, those are just a few names that they have in their arsenal, but still, of course, their biggest star is Ronaldo. He is on the verge of having his 200th cap for Portugal, and he already scored over 100 goals for them. But as recently he is struggling very much with his form. He had a really fiery interview a few days ago, and that has led him in a lot of hot water with the pundits, with the media, with the fans, and from what we can see from some training sessions in Portugal, even with his compatriots from the team.
Of course, everyone knows Cristiano Ronaldo, but I think for the young stars, we should go with Rafael Leao.
And Rafael Leao is still 23 only, and last season was his coming-of-age season in Milan. He scored over 10 goals, and he led them to the first Scudetto in ages. This year also he's playing really well, and he has been announced as Player of the Month once. For Portuguese team he started playing last year. He has 11 caps and still no goals, but my bet would be that he is gonna score his first goal for the national team in this championship.
Yeah, I think just by watching the squad, watching the players and the stars and the young stars even, we can be 100% sure that Portugal will not leave us disappointed after maybe not only the group stage but also the knockout stage. And the next team in this group is Ghana. Ghana has been drawn to the group in which they finally have their chance for a revenge versus Uruguay and versus Portugal. Versus two of them, they've lost very important matches in the last World Cups. Ghana also was the third team from Africa that had biggest chance to reach the semi-final as the first team from this continent in 2010, but Asamoah Gyan, although even he scored over 50 goals for the national team, he didn't score the most important penalty, not in the history of only Ghana, but in the history of whole continent of Africa versus Uruguay.
And when it comes to picking their biggest star for this championship, I will have to go with a controversial call, and I will say Iñaki Williams from Athletic Bilbao. He only this year started playing for Ghana after representing Spain in the youth level and as having won senior cap back in 2016. What makes this championship even more interesting is the fact that his brother Nico got a call-up from Spanish team, and once again Ghana will have one brother playing for them and the second brother playing for the other team, similar as in 2010, where one of the Boateng brothers were representing Germany and the other one was representing Ghana. So Patrick, in your opinion, who is the biggest star for Ghana for this upcoming championship?
For me, besides Iñaki Williams, I will go with Thomas Partey, the Arsenal player who already played 40 times for this club and scored 13 goals. By the way, Arsenal is doing great this season in Premier League. They have 5 points advantage versus second Manchester City. So let's say good form of whole Arsenal team is reflecting also on Thomas Partey.
And yeah, Patrick, you are correct. So definitely the entire nation of Ghana would want nothing more than to have a revenge for that handball by Luis Suarez in 2010. But just looking at the Uruguay squad, I think they're still gonna have to wait for that revenge. We must say that a lot of Uruguay players who have previously been stars for their national team are in their late 30s at this point, like Cavani, like Suarez, and even Diego Godin. But still they have some nice and up-and-coming players. One of them, and in my opinion their biggest star for this championship, would be Federico Valverde. He has simply been fantastic this season for Real Madrid. He saved them so many times, scored many important goals, and that is thanks to their coach Ancelotti, who has decided to make him play a bit more offensively and even in certain matches as a right wing. So Valverde already scored 6 goals in this season's La Liga. That is almost his entire goal tally for entire career at this point. And also we must not look away from one of the biggest signings of the summer, and that is Nunes to Liverpool. He may have been struggling at certain points, but I think that for South American teams, national team means a lot, and he is gonna give his best football for Uruguay this winter.
And yeah, before we conclude our Uruguay part of Group H, let's all not forget that Uruguay are 2 times world champions from the 30s and from the 50s. And also to mention that only 12 years ago they were very close for their bronze medal, but finally they lost versus Germany 2-3. And the next team, and also the last team in this group and in our whole prediction series, is Korea. Korea also made a history, but this is more like a fun fact history, because until this day, South Korea is record holder of the fastest goal conceded, and it was in 2002, so 20 years ago, versus Turkey in also the match for the bronze medal. The Turkish striker Hakan Şükür needed only 10 seconds to score first goal in this match, and also his first goal in that tournament. Besides that, 2002 World Cup was their best performance yet, because most of the times they ended in a group stage.
And their best player and best hope to achieve a good result in Qatar is, of course, Tottenham winger Heung-min Son. Last season, he was joint top scorer of Premier League with 23 goals. And this season, unfortunately for Tottenham fans and for South Korean fans, he is a bit cold. In 13 matches, he has scored only 3 goals, and all of these goals came in a off-the-bench hat-trick against Leicester, and I must say one of those goals was simply fantastic. But anyway, even Heung-min Son in not such a great form is still by a long shot the best player that they have. The second player who might come out as a star for them is the center-back of Napoli, Kim Min-jae. His stocks went up remarkably high last year when he finally started playing in Europe for Fenerbahce. He was their best player by a long shot. This year he made a big move to Napoli. In the end, that price tag of 18 million euros turns out to be a bargain, because he is playing really well. He made it seem like Kalidou Koulibaly is replaced in a pretty efficient way, and Napoli is playing their best football since Maradona, at this point being first in Serie A.
South Korea is just one of those teams that is very easy to underestimate. Let's not forget about Germany that lost versus South Korea 0-2 in the very last match in the group stage, even though everyone thought that South Korea will just stay there through whole 90 minutes and wait for the goals for Germans to come. And no, they fought their way and actually took Germans with them back home. So Serjan, what will be your last predictions for the last group?
I would have to put probably Portugal still in the first place, even though their chemistry is not the best and they have a lot of issues. The sheer quality of the players that they have is still much bigger than all the other teams in the group, unless something really goes wrong for them, which is not that unrealistic, I must say. I see them in the first place, I see Uruguay in the second place, and Ghana and South Korea will fight for the third place. And what about you, Patrick? What do you think that this group will end up looking like?
I will switch your opinion a bit because, in my opinion, Uruguay will take the first place because I think Portugal like to disappoint in the very most important matches, parts of every championship, and I think they will try to focus more on the knockout phase during the match versus Uruguay, and they probably gonna lose that match. And also, let's not forget that Uruguay still has Suarez and Cavani in their squad.
Thank you, Patrick, for your predictions, and thank you guys for keeping up with the series. So this has been eighth and final episode of the group analysis. But as World Championship is starting now, we will be focused on the current events of game analysis and also some more fun World Cup related content. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. And also, in case that this is the first video that you have seen, you can see the rest of them on our channel. I am Srđan, with me it was Patrick, and thank you for your attention. Have a nice day.
Bye guys.